I think this is great.
The entire country knows that we need to win the AI race. The numbers are the numbers. And there's only one way for us to win.
Well, we did 3 executive orders. So we did one on crypto, one on AI, and the one on crypto, I guess the main thing it does is it forms an internal working group with the goal of making the US the world leader in crypto, authorizing and creating a working group with the goal of achieving that objective, right? Yeah, so that's crypto. Next one's AI. It said that we want to be the world leader in AI. In fact, it uses the word dominate. We want to basically have global dominance in AI.
As the crypto market, stocks, and the entire US tech sector took a massive hit today, DeepSeek AI just took the top spot as investors panicked to regain momentum. Many believe this was a move to counter Trump's recent executive order for crypto and AI, as they will be 2 of the biggest investments this year. DeepSeek is a massive competitor in the AI space, matching ChatGPT's performance at a fraction of the cost. Despite market volatility, Bitcoin remains relatively unfazed, sitting just above 102,200, still up over 8% in the last month. As institutions and investors await an announcement for a US strategic Bitcoin reserve, the crypto market still remains bullish. Billionaire investor and host of the All In podcast, Chamath, is confident that Bitcoin is in the midst of a bull market and says a big move is coming. Predicting a major surge, he believes that rising investor activity and decreasing Bitcoin balances on exchanges are signaling a shift towards a huge price movement. Chamath says that this massive opportunity is unlike anything he's seen before. After selling his Bitcoin position, which would be worth billions today, he says investors need to get on board immediately. After a 35% increase since November 5th, Bitcoin's path is on full display. Chamath believes Bitcoin could hit $500,000 by October of 2025, especially after the recent price movements. Let's get right into the latest interview with the All In podcast, where Chamath and David Sachs give their prediction, and where we're headed in the days and weeks ahead.
Breaking news story coming across my feed. I don't know if you can pull this up, Nick, but there's a video trending on the internet. Apparently, executive order has just gone across the president's desk. None other than a gentleman named David Sachs. Now, there's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
I think this is great.
So we're going to make crypto great again.
I'll be a little bit more specific. So I think that there are a handful of ideas that, if we can implement them correctly, are really revolutionary. I think that it's good to have a stockpile of crypto. I have less of an opinion on that. I think a set of stablecoin rails that makes payments instantaneous and costless is an enormous acceleration to GDP. It would cut fraud. And I think that David's going to go and figure that out. And he's going to
talking about stablecoins specifically?
Stablecoins. I mean, I talked about this at the beginning of the year as my sort of one of my predictions, but I do think that the United States stablecoin rails will be hugely disruptive and value added. He's going to have help from the head of the SEC and the head of Treasury to do it. I just think it's great. I think Sachs is already off to a hugely fast start.
The entire country knows that we need to win the AI race. The numbers are the numbers. You put up a chart like that, Thomas, and there's only one way for us to win. And so I think he's just got to hammer this through, and let's see who tries to stop it.
Well, we did 3 executive orders today. So we did one on crypto, one on AI, and then one on PCAS, which is the President's Council of Advisors for Science and Technology. The one on crypto, I guess we can start there. The main thing it does is it forms an internal working group with the goal of making the US the world leader in crypto. So it's not one specific action. It's basically authorizing and creating a working group with the goal of achieving that objective, right? And the members of this working group are going to be, there's me, there's the head of the SEC, the Secretary of the Treasury, and all the agencies and departments that have an interest in crypto.
And then the other 2, Sachs?
Yeah, so that's crypto. Next one's AI. It said that we want to be the world leader in AI. In fact, it uses the word dominate. We want to basically have global dominance in AI. And similar to what we're doing on the crypto side, it directs the creation of an AI action plan. And that study will be led by 3 people: the National Security Advisor, who is Mike Waltz, the Director of the Office of Science and Technology Policy, who will be Michael Kratsios as soon as he's Senate confirmed. And then the third person is me. So the 3 of us are going to work together on this AI action plan. And the idea is to figure out what is it that the industry actually needs to make us number one globally in AI. So it's putting a little bit more substance behind like what this our role means.
I think that you can't wipe $3 trillion of value out of the world. And so
pragmatically hard to do. Got it.
So it's here to stay. And it's too institutionalized now. So, there's just way too many organized pools of capital that are now speculating inside of this entire ecosystem.
I think the important thing is just that entrepreneurs, founders know what the rules are so they can abide by them and not be surprised.
And they don't right now.
Yeah. Well, so they don't get surprised later. They don't get whammied, but with basically, because they are building something legitimate here,
Right.
The ongoing adoption of Bitcoin by governments, institutions, and media signifies a broader recognition of its value. However, Chamath asserts this journey is just beginning, comparing the initial years to the current widespread interest and investment, with a giant spotlight on Bitcoin ETFs. Chamath highlights this being a significant development in the financial ecosystem. The All In podcast discusses why crypto is completely being reshaped as one of the best opportunities in 2025.
That's why I think Powell and Gensler had to say some version of that on the record, which is, we're not going to ban this stuff because they know it's not possible. So I think David's right. You have to create some rules, make folks and let folks pay their taxes. I remember, for example, like I did this Bitcoin transaction in 2014 or something. I bought some land. I used BitPay. I transferred some Bitcoin, bought the land, blah, blah, blah. It was like whatever. Finding a way for me to pay my taxes was a huge deal, I remember. And, we filed the tax return and we tried to make sure that we paid our taxes. These are very complicated. Even if you want to be conformant to the government, it's impossible right now. So they just need to create some rules where folks can say, here's what I own, here's what it's worth, tell me how much I owe you, and we're all willing to pay. Or not, maybe I am. Because I just think it's like, make sure that we can trade around it, hedge it, structure it, do the things that we would normally do with any other risk assets. Right now, that's very hard. And when you own lots of this stuff, it sits in your balance sheet and you just take these enormous swings and you're just like, God, you can't do anything around this stuff. And that's not a viable financial market.
Listen, I think anybody who is buying these tokens right now knows that they're engaged in financial speculation. This idea that people in middle America are going to blow their retirement savings on crypto, I just don't really buy it.
Well, no, but if they know, if they're doing speculation, then it should be a security.
No, David, I think you're totally wrong. I totally buy it. Look at the quarterly returns, the filings of earnings from companies like Robinhood and Square, and how much money they make from crypto, and look at their audience. That's totally not true.
But don't you think that audience skews really young and they're YOLOing it into meme stocks or crypto?
What does that have to do with
Well, because
anything?
You're making it sound like they're going to blow their retirement savings. Okay, well, if you're talking about a 25-year-old who's got $5,000 of retirement savings, maybe, but they still got, 40 years of work ahead of them.
Hold on a second. Wait, no, they don't. This is going to be the least hardworking generation of our lifetime. Why? No. Not because they're not hardworking. Why? There's $70 trillion that boomers have that they are about to pass down to these folks, on average between 2 and 3 trillion a year for the next 30 years. You're going to take one entire turn of the world's GDP and give it to 100 million people in America over the next 20 to 30 years. That is what is actually going to happen. So
yeah. Look, I think
of course they're going to keep YOLOing this stuff.
Yeah, look, I think we're getting off on like a little bit of a tangent here. My point is not that there shouldn't be investor protections, but rather that I think we also need to balance another important objective, which is to create a hospitable environment for innovation. And the fact of the matter is that you've got a lot of brilliant young entrepreneurs, computer scientists building this financial infrastructure of the future with crypto. It's not just speculation. There is a lot of code being written. It has functionality. There's a purpose to it. Here's the evolution in our thinking. I mean, the first step was realizing, okay, we need to own Bitcoin. Why? Because, there's now enough evidence where like a decade or more than a decade into this, nobody has been able to essentially counterfeit a Bitcoin. It is, new money. It is better money. So I'm not going to convince people right now of the argument for Bitcoin, but if you believe in it, that's sort of the first step is you realize you really need to have 1% to 2% of your portfolio in Bitcoin in the event that fiat money sort of becomes debased and eventually you move to crypto. Then you realize, well, wait a second, Bitcoin is just one application of blockchains. There's a bunch of applications of blockchains. So maybe we need to own not just sort of, digital money, but we also need to own the underlying blockchain platform. But this is why we partner with Multicoin Capital. So what I would just say is like the idea that you as an individual investor are going to pick off the one cryptocurrency here or there to invest in. I mean, that's going to be a lottery. I would find a manager basically who is really good, who has a track record, who understands this stuff.
Our approach is to hire very young, extremely technical computer scientists and mathematicians to basically do the work. That's working.
Yeah. And, one of the things that I think these guys do, and the reason why it is very helpful for them to be computer scientists, is these are all open source projects.
The crypto market is poised for a meteoric surge in prices. He illustrates Bitcoin's current undervaluation, drawing in investors and enticing speculators eager to ride the waves of September's price fluctuations in pursuit of profits. Chamath's outlook is fueled by the impending wave of mass adoption, which he believes presents an unparalleled opportunity to get in on the action. He sees the race toward a six-figure price target. What's more, he highlights the intriguing historical pattern of Bitcoin's value surging 10x. He asserts that the promises made by the Federal Reserve and central banks have been hollow, leading to excessive money printing and a proliferation of poor investments. And with the aftermath of the recent inflation surge, Chamath says this will not lead to a return to the status quo. He argues that the economy has spun out of control, with the US facing a mounting debt crisis. Kaiser presents two bleak possibilities: hyperinflation or a deflationary depression. In either scenario, the overall quality of life deteriorates. He notes the absence of viable solutions, indicating an even greater severity of the crisis. Interestingly, he points out how political figures are discussing Bitcoin as part of a potential solution, marking a shift towards a Bitcoin-centric financial framework. What do you think about Chamath's prediction for Bitcoin, the crypto market cap, as well as the institutional capital pouring into the space? Comment down below.